Patton.
I am not David Patton.
You can go back in custody. We'll find David Patton.
Okay, David Patton is my property though.
Welcome to Solvent Citizen Legal Encounters. All right, today we have a solvent citizen in court that has had some unusual behavior. Now, first of all, the main thing I like, as you saw on my thumbnail, this solvent citizen got shut down by this judge in 53 seconds. And to prove it, I put the time on the screen, so that way nobody can say I just made it up, which I never do. Also, I want to give a shout out to Colin. Colin had this video and he shared it with me, okay? And his link is in the description for this video also. Let's go.
Oh, who wants to go pro se?
Alright, we'll start with you first.
Who?
Patton?
Yeah.
I'm not David Patton, but that's my property.
Okay. I'll be standing there on the yellow X and then this is your paperwork.
Who are you?
Phone call 25 CM 724, State of Wisconsin versus David
I ain't
Patton.
gonna stand with you.
Appearances.
I'm not Mr. Patton.
We
Mr.
can
Patton
actually
is
see
my
the
property.
complaint.
Does he have to go?
Mr. Patton is my property.
Go and do it.
You can do whatever you want.
It's all you.
Are you David Patton?
I am not David Patton.
You can go back in custody. We'll find David Patton.
Okay, David Patton is my property though.
If you wish to, this is
I'm
the
not-
case against David Patton.
Oh, okay, but then you already like find David Patton.
You go back in the jail, they'll call David Patton. It'll be rescheduled for tomorrow if you wish
This is
to.
my property though. But this is my property. David Patton is my property. And I'm here to establish that David.
If you want
Patton is my
to take
property.
your place here, David,
I'm
this
not
is
David.
David
I'm
Patton.
not David Patton.
That's
not-
you, sir.
I am man, God wish I did.
We're here for an initial appearance on David
I want
Patton.
to challenge jurisdiction.
If you're not David Patton, you can't challenge
Okay,
anything.
now we can
Take it back.
Correct, ma'am.
We'll reschedule for tomorrow.
That's one of the fastest solvent citizen shutdown I've ever seen. If you know one that's faster, put it in the comments. Now we're going to the next hearing to see what happens in there. Let's go.
It was an optimist back then.
So we had information about Mr. Patton, because he was currently locked out of that building, and he was not cooperating with the cell guards to complete this. So the deputy there took the computer with the cell log, and Mr. Patton is now stripped naked and is sitting on. Appearance of the attorneys for that. Yeah, he's just getting settled.
Sure. Thank you very much.
This is 25 CM 724, State of Wisconsin versus David M. Patton. There is a representative from the state here. This hearing will be set over. The information that I received from the bailiffs prior to the hearing today was that Mr. Patton was unable to control himself in a safe and appropriate manner, despite their attempts to do so and facilitate his appearance. So we will set his case over to another day, and hopefully we'll have more cooperation from Mr. Patton. We are adjourned.
Mr. Patton is definitely a piece of work. And what point was he trying to prove taking all his clothes off before the hearing? I'm glad they didn't bring him out, because that wouldn't have been a pretty sight. So now we're going to go to hearing number 3, the final hearing. Okay, let's go.
Next up is David Patton, appearing by Zoom. And I'm informed by the bailiff that he's not real cooperative or willing to take the hearing.
All right. Well, we'll call the case of the state of Wisconsin versus David Patton. It is case 25 CM 724. May we have appearances, please?
State appears by ADA, Emilia Nelson.
Attorney Stan Woodard with the Fund Defender's Office appearing on behalf of Mr. Patton. Mr. Patton, is not, Mr. Patton wants to go pro se. That's the information I have on our paperwork here, so I will allow him to go pro se if that's what he wishes to do.
Okay, well, it appears that there's an attempt at least to conduct this hearing via Zoom. I can see that Deputy Gilmore is connected via Zoom and is in a housing unit at what appears to be the city county building. Deputy Gilmore, if you could please unmute just so I can ask a question or two. Yeah. Thank you. Deputy Gilmore, I can't tell on the video whether Mr. Patton is close by and able to hear or what the situation is on your end right now.
Sure, he has locked himself in a cell. He has said that he's unwilling to participate in this hearing today. I am at the cell block. He is in the cell block. He's just not willing to come to the Zoom. He can hear.
Okay, that was what I wanted to make sure. So he is effectively present. It's just a matter of him not stepping out to the exact spot where we'd be able to see him.
Correct.
Okay, and Mr. Patton, Mr. Woodard tells me that you'd like to represent yourself. That's likely fine, but in order to do that, I'm going to be able to need to at least hear you. Do you want to represent yourself, or do you want Mr. Woodard to help you here today?
I am not Mr. Patton for the record. I'm going to talk about considering myself wrong term. I do not waive my rights under the Constitution, and that is what I'm saying. I am not, none of that shit. I'm assuming, I don't know, you're looking for a Mr. Patton. I am not Mr. Patton, sir.
Okay, well, would you like Mr. Woodard to help you today, or did you wish to represent yourself?
Mr. Patton, would you like to represent yourself or have an attorney?
And I'm not in your jurisdiction. Because I am not David Patton. David Patton is my name. It was given to me at birth. And that's why I keep telling you. If I was to appear in front of that camera, I would be committing fraud. I would be participating in your game of fraud.
You can't come on camera because it's fraud, but you're in jail under the same name.
Okay. Well, based on what
Look, at this point in time, I'm checking out. I have never given anybody authorization to speak for me. And
Okay.
at this point in time, I'm talking about that I didn't break the Constitution. I do not break any of my rights.
Mr. Patton, you don't have, Mr. Patton, can you hear me? So Deputy Gilmore, I can no longer hear him well. Is he turned away like the opposite direction or something?
I'm sorry, Commissioner. It's a little difficult to hear you right now.
I understand. I'm really not able to hear Mr. Patton anymore, though I can hear he's speaking. Did he like turn an opposite direction or something? Is that why the audio level changed?
He is currently in his cell block, and he is not wishing to have an attorney represent him.
Okay, so Mr. Patton, I'm going to basically give you one more opportunity. But I need you to clearly articulate and just on this point, whether you'd like to have Mr. Woodard help you here today or whether you're going to represent yourself.
Patton, would you like to have Attorney Woodard represent you, or would you like to represent yourself?
I think there was no response, Deputy Gilmore.
No response, Commissioner.
All right, well, since I can't take a full waiver of his right to counsel, Mr. Woodard, hopefully we can have you do your best here today.
Your Honor, I can advise you, I don't mind either way, don't get me wrong, but it does say on the information I have in my from the office, that says he does not want a public defender and wants to go pro, say, or pro PER.
Okay.
So, I mean, our office has got that information. I just need to say that, Your Honor.
I appreciate that. So the record reflects that there was an attempt to conduct this hearing 2 days ago on the 2nd. He was here in the courtroom, apparently refused to identify himself and eventually had to be removed. The next day, on the 3rd, there was an attempt to conduct the hearing via Zoom, and there was an inability to proceed on that because some actions on his part, I think they involved his state of duress and willingness to cooperate. We're now on our 3rd consecutive day attempting this initial appearance, and while the behaviors are different, I don't know that they're more indicative of an inability to proceed on his own. At this point, and I will note for the record that I'm the 3rd commissioner in 3 days to attempt to conduct an initial appearance there. To the extent that there could be any claim that there are issues with sort of tolerance or patience on the part of the court officials. It's again, now the third court official involved in this. I'm going to make a finding that he's not in a position to waive right to counsel. I'll further find that he's waived or forfeited the ability to actively participate further in this proceeding. He is in a position where he can certainly listen if he chooses to do so, and I hope he does. I think that would be good for all concerned. But we're going to go ahead at this point, and Mr. Witter, unless you feel that for some reason you cannot make arguments on his behalf other than his stated wishes, I think I'd ask and I'd appreciate it if you could try to help on his behalf. I think that would be good for all. Attorney Nelson, any position regarding bail for Mr. Patton?
Yes, the state is requesting a cash bond in the amount of $500. No contact with Anitra B, that is ANITRA, James B, or the co-defendant Deja B. State believes cash is appropriate at this point, particularly given Mr. Patton's extreme uncooperativeness while in the jail. State does not believe this is indicative of someone who's going to show up to court willingly. And I think that some amount of cash is necessary to ensure his appearance in the future.
And I do see that he is also on an ES hold. I assume that means the clerk is going to assign this to some particular branch.
I will assign it to a particular branch. The branch that I would assign it to based on the hold would be branch 3, due to the supervision out of branch 12 and our court math. The co-defendant does have open cases in branch 7, however, so I'll be assigning it there.
Yep, I think that makes sense. I think the statutory provision on co-defendant trials trumps the local court rules. Attorney Nelson, are you aware of any reason why we should be addressing mental health competency, or is it your position that what we're seeing here is more a product of sort of an effort to disrupt rather than something mental health related?
I don't have enough personal knowledge of Mr. Patton's situation. I've not spoken to him directly. My personal impression at this time is that this is more behavioral and an attempt to be disruptive than mental health. That being said, if the behavior continues, maybe I'll put a note in that competency should be considered, but at this time, I'm not competency concerns.
All right, Mr. Witter?
Thank you, Your Honor. Well, Mr. Patton is claiming that he's not Mr. Patton. He has another name. I don't know what that means in terms of his ability to understand what's going on. He does have a appeal hold on it, from what I understand from the information that I have in front of me from my office. And so he's not going to go anywhere, at least for a while anyway. I will represent him for today's purposes only. I say that, Your Honor, looks like the matters contained here are misdemeanor matters. Wait reading of this complaint. And in regard to these misdemeanor matters and Mr. Patton, if I'm finding the problem caused by the court, we would stand mute and ask for a general plea of not guilty. Other than that, that's about as far as I can go. I will ask for a modest amount of cash bail. In regards to Mr. Patton, this is a misdemeanor battery, and then there is a tip misdemeanor and then a disorderly. So with these misdemeanor matters, there is no violation of pending bail or anything like that, or pending case. So we're going to ask for a signature bond, Your Honor, in light of this situation. And that's about the best I can do.
And I'm hesitant to ask this question, but I think I should. The booking sheet actually has him booked in on 2 separate battery sets of allegations with 2 separate Madison Police Department case numbers. This complaint appears to address one of them, but I'm not sure that it addresses the other. If it would help Attorney Nelson for me to give you the MPD case numbers, I'm certainly happy to do that.
I actually can't search things using the agency number, so I only have this one case right now. Let me see what I can do. We just had this came in as a single referral from Madison Police, so I'm not sure what is happening with the other charges or the other referral, but I don't believe it's. Don't believe it's been charged at this time, to my knowledge.
Okay, and
Oh, it looks, okay, sorry, I just got a message. It seems that we declined the other one.
I see. And the timing would seem to suggest that they may have been related or close in time as well. Any response to Mr. Woodard's arguments?
Yeah, I would just like to know, Mr. Patton, I was here 2 days ago when we first tried to do his initial appearance, and he was stating that he is not David Patton, but that David Patton is his property. This is a common sovereign citizen argument. I know my name is my property. They usually often use another name, so that's kind of the basis for my thinking that it's not necessarily a mental health issue at this point. But again, given the fact that we've now had to try to do this 3 times and have been unsuccessful, I don't think Mr. Patton is going to show up to court without cash on the line. So I think that the request is appropriate.
All right, one moment, please. All right, so I've had a very brief opportunity to look at the allegations in the complaint. I've also looked at CCAP, and I did view the DOC locator to try to figure out what his status was with his agent prior to this. And a little bit of history. This is an Act 3 eligible offense, meaning that there are violent crimes alleged. That means that I'm also supposed to consider not just appearance risk, but also protection of the community, both specific victims and the community as a whole. I'm also supposed to consider the risk of witness intimidation and the consideration of any affirmative defenses. In addition, I'm supposed to consider prior violent crimes. I will concede that I have not explored every single case in Mr. Patton's history. The DOC locator, and combined with CCAP, says that he's on ES for a substantial battery that appears was committed against the same individual who was identified as a victim in this complaint. And I want to review this complaint just a little closer to make sure I'm getting that right.
And Commissioner, it does appear that the defendant has reapproached the laptop and is holding up some sort of sign.
All right, and it says, "I am not David. David Patton is my property." So yes, I think that is consistent with Ms. Nelson's observation that this is essentially a sovereign citizen game, and it's one I don't play.
I see the sovereign citizen game is not accepted in that court.
Mr. Patton is again charged with, in this complaint, with battery and attempted battery of individuals that are not the co-defendant, though the co-defendant, I think, is the individual who is the victim of the prior substantial battery. In any event, he has a prior recent history for violent offenses. This complaint alleges violent offenses. It's plain that he doesn't recognize essentially the jurisdiction of the court. I think he said that as much himself earlier. He's not willing to cooperate with the process really in any way, shape, or form. And there are some very real dangers here. There's also an allegation in this complaint of an attempt, or not an attempt, I should restate that, a threat to blow up a house. I'm not setting anything less than $2,500. I'll set that. I'll order the no contact condition with respect to Anitra B. I agree with the state's position that right now there's not really reason to doubt competence, that this is essentially gamesmanship on the part of Mr. Patton, and therefore I won't make a competency referral. But when he has counsel appointed, or if he has counsel appointed, or if either the judge assigned to the case or the state think it's appropriate, they're free to raise that issue with the judge at a later time.
And Commissioner, I think there were a couple of other no contacts requested, James J. and Deja B.
Yeah, that's certainly appropriate. I'll adopt those as well. Thank you.
I'm so sorry, I actually, it should be James J. I think I said it wrong the first time.
I think I had actually corrected it when I was reminding the Commissioner.
All right, yeah, and that's consistent with what's in the complaint. So it'll be adopted as it's been amended here. All right, good luck, Mr. Patton. I hope this goes better next time.
Well, Mr. Patton have a long way to go if he keeps this up with trying to delay all of this process. Now they talking about competency. It's going to be a while. I'll see what I can do about following up on it. Have a good day, evening or night. See you around on the next video.